Okay, we're on. So Samantha here, Key Passages LLC, and I'm here with the grand Carol and Mickey. And we are here I've done some videos on this page before, but we are doing a collaboration today and bringing all of our skill sets and ideas together today. So this is our first live, so be kind and patient. And Carol, would you like to do a quick introduction?
Sure, why not? Hi, everybody. My name is Carol. I have my own YouTube channel where I share channeled information and insights. I've been doing readings for over 30 years. I work with energy. I don't really do healings because I don't believe that any of us really need to be healed. What I do is I help people to understand what's happening inside of themselves so that they can then take that information and move forward with it and learn to trust their own inner landscapes.
Thank you.
Boom, 30 seconds, I think.
And Mickey?
Well, right now,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm a general contractor. I also do practice Reiki and a facilitator for guiding healing energy into people.
Yes.
And I'm here to help raise the collective consciousness.
Yes, yes. And he has a very powerful frequency in his voice, as you may have noticed. So he's a wonderful asset too. And I'm just really glad that we're all here to do this together today. So I think I wanted to start with
Samantha, what do you do?
I am a nurse. I'm also a certified end-of-life care specialist. I help people with fears and with passing, and to bring up what they may have feared and walk them through that. I do quite a bit of things. I'm also an energy healer myself, energy worker, I should say, facilitator, healing facilitator, I like to call it, because as like she said, that we all have the ability to heal ourselves, and we just provide the energy and the guidance to do that, so that someone else can do that, in tandem. So
what I would like to point out for everybody who might watch this is that all three of us work with the energy and have an understanding of how it works within us and through us and how it affects other people, but yet we're all very grounded people. So we have lives outside of the new age spiritual context thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Mickey's the contractor, you have a nursing degree. Mine was in journalism. So, but it's been a long time since I've worked out in the regular world because I can't deal with the structure of it.
Mm-hmm.
But so anyhow, the point being is that I think what the three of us do together is to help people to recognize what's going on inside of them and to still be able to deal with regular life. So Mickey is still a contractor, and Samantha has been transitioning out of the regular work world, being a registered nurse and end of life specialist for quite a while now. She's 2 years now. You've been transitioning out of it.
Nursing well, I mean, I still do nursing. I still do nursing here and there, but I'm no longer doing it full time for a company. I work for myself.
And so we're coming from three different levels of incorporating that into our lives. So Mickey's making it work, still in the everyday work world, but
Mm-hmm.
he still pays attention to what's going on inside of him and how you're being guided. Yes?
Yes. Yep.
And Samantha has been letting go of that regular work world for about 2 years now,
Mm-hmm.
right?
About 2 years, yes.
And you're still in it, but you're working your way out of it. And I've been in this for over 30 years, so I transitioned out of the regular work world a long time ago. But so all of that just to say that I hope that it resonates for people who, no matter what level they're at, no matter if they're still working 9-to-5 jobs, or if they're just now trying to get out of that loop, or if they've been out of the loop for a while but don't know where to go next or what to do next.
I would like to preface anything moving forward that I say that this is, we're all learning. None of us know it all. And these are my beliefs and opinions now. These are just my points of view of what I've learned thus far. And I don't like to take power from people. I don't like it taken from me. And so have people come up with their own conclusions about what's going on. But I do have some of my own beliefs and insights I'd like to add as far as I don't think anybody can deny that the state of the world right now is pretty chaotic. Yeah, it's pretty chaotic. And all of us have awakened up. We've all gone through an awakening process. What does that mean? It's when you kind of wake up into the idea of there's something more out there. It's not just to speak on what you were talking about as far as the 9 to 5, what we would call a matrix job. You kind of get caught up in that routine and working for basically somebody else, and we kind of set the things that we our gifts and talents and things kind of off to the side. And if we have time for them between working and family and then sleeping and doing the same thing again.
If I can interject just real quickly to point out to people that we're not following a script. This is all off the cuff. We've all asked for our higher guidance to be present to bring up whatever needs to be talked about. And so we're hoping that you will all ask questions, whether it's during the live or afterwards. And one of us can step forward and answer that. So with that said, that this is off the cuff, what you were talking about, Samantha, that made me think about how you in particular, why are you on this path? I mean, what brought you to this point?
Well, I cannot say a lot of people, I hear a lot of people say, especially now that, I've been in this world for several years now, in the spiritual world. A lot of people say they had these gifts and things that they would notice since they were children. And I don't really recall being really young and having them, but I do know that in my late teens, it started with the loss of my grandmother who passed. We were there at the hospital when she passed, and I had an experience that was it shook me, and I wasn't ready to accept it. So I kind of just, anything as far as intuition came, or anything that had to do with spiritual stuff, or anything beyond my everyday, dealings of life, I just pushed aside. I was afraid of it, to be honest with you. I didn't want anything to do with it. And so I went on and raised my children, and then we had many different things happen. But I think what progressed us into this is, quite frankly, pain, raw pain that can be used as a tool to wake up and integrate in other things. And it started with the passing of my first little brother, who passed tragically in a car accident at 23. I was 25. And then I lost my mother, who never really bounced back from that. And then my other little brother, that was 10 years younger than he passed away of an accidental overdose. And then within 6 weeks, I was on the scene of an accident where I was at the light, and a loud thought came to turn right. So I moved over, and the gentleman, the young man that came into the lane I was in, was hit from behind at 85 miles an hour, and he passed away while I was praying with him. And that really jarred me into what is going on. And, it was just very raw pain. It was very difficult. And I just came to the point where I don't get it. I don't understand why. It's all, I didn't see the joy anymore. And I just, gotta help me, because I don't see the joy anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. And then it was just like the minute I gave up control and I surrendered and said, I can't do this anymore. I can't fight anymore. I've always been a fighter. Anyone knows me knows me. I fight through everything. And when I finally just gave up that and surrendered, it's like the whole world opened up, and these synchronicities and things that I couldn't even explain, that were just, my whole family was like, is she going nuts? Like, she's not dealing with these deaths well. And it wasn't that. I was just having these spiritual experiences that I couldn't explain, and they're magical and amazing. And it's very confusing, because then you don't fit into this world anymore, but you don't understand this one either, so then you find yourself kind of like in this space where you're not really sure what to make of it, and am I going nuts? Did that really happen? And then I'd like to have Mickey speak on this, actually, if he'd like to. Then you'll have an aha moment where you're just like, okay, I don't care what anyone says, I don't care what and then you got to remember, I'm a hospice nurse too. So then I started having a lot of experiences. I went into hospice after all that. So I've been a nurse for 23 years or something, and then went into hospice. So then I had these hospice experiences backing this up. And but once I got to that aha moment, I was like, there's more out there. I don't care what anyone says. Like, this is real. And from that point on, I just started taking the steps to, ask for guidance, and I pray for guidance, and then as soon as I surrendered, it's like it's kind of like the universe said, "Thank you. Now we have something to work with," and they just scooted me up and took me out, and I met Carol here, who's been my mentor for been 6 years now. And the way I found her is I met her a year before. Briefly, we chatted. I happened to just meet her, didn't know she was. I walked into a store and she was in there, and we chatted. And a year later, I went to an estate sale in a city next to hers and parked in her front yard, and didn't even realize I did until she'd come out. And so that was obviously meant to be. So a year later in another city, that was just insane. But Mickey, did you want to talk? I don't know how detailed you want to be, but you had an aha moment yourself, right?
I've had a couple of them, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The first one that I can remember, when I knew that I wasn't actually a participant in it. I was working for Cisco Foods, and I was hauling double trailers down the I-10, well, actually the 202, and coming onto the I-10 with that on-ramp. And when you come
Arizona here, yeah.
When you come down the ramp to get onto the 10, it comes into a triangle, or at the point there where the lanes merge. Well, there happened to be probably about 20 yards out from that triangle at the end, on the dotted line on the middle of the freeway, was a motorcycle guy, and he was stopped, and traffic was backing up and slamming on their brakes. Well, when I came to him, I passed him, and I looked at my mirror, and the last thing I saw was my back trailer coming around, and it was going to wipe him out. And then the next thing I remember, I was on the side of the highway, pulled over by 7th Street, and I got out of my truck, and the guy in the motorcycle was already off the freeway. And I went up to him to make sure he was okay, and he asked, he goes, "Were you driving that truck?" And he goes, "Were you in that truck?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Man, you know how to drive." I said, "Brother, that was not me driving that truck." So that was one of my experiences that I've had.
Goosebumps on that story, man.
Mm-hmm.
That angelic feeling is just like all that signature is all over that experience.
Yes.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What was the other aha moment? Because you mentioned too.
The other aha moment that I can recall really well just happened not too long ago. I was actually in my house, and I was sitting in a chair, and of course I'm dreaming. I didn't realize it at the time because it felt so real. But I was in a chair, and in my backyard I have a wrought iron fence, and everything was fine and dandy. And then on the other side of the fence, it was nothing but pitch black. So everything was lit up on my side, just as you see it. And then on the other side of this fence, which is actually a green belt, was pitch black. And a voice in my head told me that those were all my fear was out there. So now I'm getting chills, but all of a sudden in my head, I said, "Let's do this." And the chair launched, like you would think of a mirror in your bathroom that you can pull away from the wall. So it was an accordion that shot me out into the darkness. And the only thing I could think of to say was love, love, love. And then I was halfway between dreaming and being awake. And I don't know if I had sleep paralysis or not, but because I laid there waiting to see if anything else was going to happen while I was laying there, and then slowly it just the whole sensation of like energy through my body dissipated away, and then I was fine. But that was definitely an aha moment for me.
And what was it telling you?
I believe it cracked my heart chakra.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Well, and you faced your fears, and that was just several months ago. Yes.
Yes.
It wasn't even too long ago.
No, that was very recent.
And by aha moment, because I think we've had conversations where there's sometimes we're like, what's going on? And like, no, that was my experience. It was real. It happened. And I always go back to that as my grounding rod.
Right.
So
Yeah, for sure.
you're just like, because people will try to talk you out of it. And like, oh, that was your analytical mind and blah, blah, blah.
You know, that's the thing, is that when you experience something yourself, it is yours. Nobody can take it away from you. That's, you can go for all the tarot readings you want, all the astrology readings, etc. You can do shadow work with whoever, etc. But unless you have your own personal experience, it is not your truth. And when you have your own personal experience, it becomes your truth, and nobody can take it away from you. Right. And so when I've had my moments of doubt, like, oh, I must be having visions of grandeur. Oh, yeah, why am I on this path? It doesn't really make a difference. Who am I impacting, et cetera, et cetera. Whenever I have those moments of doubt, my guidance system kicks in and shows me a picture of something that happened, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. And it's an experience that is so wild and so out of this world that nobody would believe it, right? But I experienced it. I personally experienced it. So nobody can tell me that it's not real because I lived it. And so I think that when people start to recognize, start to have those personal experiences, and they recognize that this is their personal truth, that's when we start to empower ourselves, right? And so, and when we each have our moments of, oh my God, this is so wild. This can't really be happening. Like Samantha going to the estate sale next to my house and parking in my yard, right? So that spirit guided her there. And she came back into my life. That was only the second time I met her. I didn't really remember her until she reminded me of how we first met. But we met up like that at the perfect moment. She was ready. She was then ready in her own life to understand more. And I was at the point of, I'm not doing channelings, I'm not doing readings, etc. Because why?
May I interject in that?
And Samantha offered the reason why. So
we all channel.
Yes.
People get really freaked out about that. I know I did. I grew up, with a religious background. I was saved, and I still, believe that. I still believe in God and Jesus and angels and guides and all that. But I don't believe in the fear-based portion of it. And when you say channel, that would freak me out. There was a time that well, she's weird. I don't want anything to do with it, because I'd shut everything off, right? But we all channel. When you're going about cleaning the house, or maybe you're mowing the lawn, or you're fixing your truck, or whatever's going on, and all of a sudden a song pops up in your head, that's higher guidance channeling. And you look up those lyrics, and 9 times out of 10, there'll be lyrics there that are something that you're going through, something that resonates with you. I didn't know I was doing that. I would just, all of a sudden, a song would pop in my head, and I'd only remember half of it. So it wasn't even my song, it was something from 30 years ago. And I would only remember half of it, but it was enough that I could Google it and find the lyrics. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So I think we all channel. We all have spiritual gifts. We all have the ability to, because we're all made in the image of God. So God's within us, and we're all looking outside for all of these things to make us feel happy, and it's within. And so that's what I wanted to say, because I think what's important about this conversation, this collaborating, getting it together, is in various stages of it, is that with what I originally started talking about is the way the state of the world is in right now. And people are going to start waking up. That's the reason why things are happening, even in the government. It's shaking things up so we can all start questioning things and wake up to the ideas that we're far more powerful than most of us know. And we don't have to run these same gamuts and keep doing things the way everybody else wants to do them. Find your passions. I'm very big about that. Face your fears, use that fear as a tool, and, of course, grieve and go through that process, but then don't sit in that fear, work through it and use that as a tool to open you up to things that may have scared you.
So perfect, because fear is the big thing. It's one of the keys to getting past everything.
Yes.
So my question, I mean, I know the fears that I had to work through, and they were really big fears for me, right? So, but I don't, so I want to ask you two, I kind of want to keep the spotlight on the two of you, is that, what was, Mickey, what was one of your biggest fears in your journey, in your entire journey from when you started to realize that there's something more going on? Maybe you didn't even understand it. Maybe it was before learning Reiki. Maybe it was when you were younger, but you had some understanding that you were meant for something more. What was one of your biggest fears that you had to confront?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that for a minute.
Yeah, that would be a good one, because you said that one of your last experiences was you being catapulted into your fears. So what is a fear for you? Fear comes because people think that they need to hold on to something, that they don't, they can't let go of it because it defines them. It's something that they need to have in their life, or that they're used to having in their life. So for Samantha, in the last 2 years, what's been one of your biggest fears that you
Oh my
had?
gosh, leaving the matrix, not work, starting my own business, the fear of letting go a steady job where I was, in nursing, where I'm getting a paycheck, weekly, biweekly. It's a little scary at the beginning to start a business, and especially when everyone around you thinks you're insane. So,
Yeah.
and to get
so as you face that, what was one of the things that you learned about yourself?
what did
Because you faced that fear, you literally faced it head on when you left your job, and you had you still had.
I always say, and I post this a lot too. I think what happens is, unfortunately, the misery has to outweigh the fear before we typically do something about it as a whole. And when you become so miserable that I don't care how scary it is, I'm doing it, and it was just there, but there's many fears. There's fear of shame, doubt, being seen on a camera, wrinkles and bags under my eyes, and my high school friends may see it. There's initially I'm worked through that, but it's afraid of being seen. It's afraid of being heard, or even worse, not being heard. Afraid, what if you fail? So I always like to say, what is the best thing that can happen? Because really, in the end, we're always okay. No matter what we do, we're always okay. And I have to say, I've been in what we would call hermit mode for almost 2 years now, just starting a business. So with no income coming in from from a regular job, and somehow I have every need met. I've always taken care of. Even, we are humans, we stress on it, but I tell you, it's far worse for me to be in that misery of doing the mundane same thing I hated doing.
So how did you get through that? All that when you left your job, and then the fear is there, the programming of you have to do this, and you're not doing this. So how are you going to make this? And now you got to get groceries, and now your house payment. How did you get past that fear? How did you work through it?
It sounds so cliche, but I literally said, all right, God, I'm going to jump. Catch me, and I did. And it wasn't like overnight, I'm still working through that. But I always have my needs met. I'm still working at it. And I am so grateful. I would much rather try and fail 1,000 times than to not try, as silly as that sounds. And, you know, I have to say this, I use this as an example. As a nurse, we would see people that we'd set up by the nurses station in their wheelchairs, and they would have, you know, dementia and that, and we'd have to keep an extra eye on them because they would fall. We were afraid they're going to fall. And I would see these people day in and day out. That was their existence. And I thought, I wonder if those are people that just never lived out the things they wanted to do, that never had the life they wanted to have. They're just existing. And in a sense, we're just existing. You know what I mean? And I just don't want to exist anymore. So I decided when I didn't want to be here, and I don't mean in the sense that like some great grand thing, but I just thought I don't see the joy anymore. And once I surrendered and got swept up and taken out to meet people like you and all these synchronicities and things, is when I realized that it was just like, I can't do this life anymore that doesn't make me happy. And so I started finding like the things I'm passionate about, because I decided that day when I surrendered, I'm not going to be unhappy another day in my life. If I'm going to stay here, I'm going to be happy, whatever that takes. Well, I want to have to say, as simple as it sounds, I think the misery outweighed the fear.
So it sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me like that whole process was you learning how to grow your trust in yourself and in the universe, because every day brought a new challenge and a fear that you had to overcome. And the way that there was no physical element like a person or a bank or whatever that said, no matter what, your bank account's always going to be full. You'll always be able, you just had to trust that somehow it was going to work. Yes. So
yes, and I have to say, I'd like to give credit, because God has definitely put people on my path to help me. Not only like you think you're on your own, it might just be you're in the wrong group. You know what I mean? We grew up with these all these things that we're taught. We almost have to rewire our brain. And when you decide to make that jump, people are placed in your path to help you. My children have helped me. They've stepped in. My ex-husband has helped me. I've had friends that have helped me in ways, you know. So and also I'm not one to like to ask for help or ask for things. So I had to learn to receive. I've learned a lot of things in this hermit mode. I had to learn to receive instead of just giving all the time. So, but the right people were put in my path, and I always have everything I need. And I know they're blessed abundantly for helping with that.
What I want to point out in all the years that I've been doing this, is that one of the things that it always comes down to is, especially with empaths, that because we feel other people's emotions, their pains, their heartaches, their joys, etc., we want to make things nicer for them, right? Easier for them. So we're always giving, we're always reaching out, we're always trying to share, etc. What happens is, because humans are creatures of habit, is that we get into this habit of always giving. And then on top of it, a lot of us come from families where we're supposed to be strong, right?
Yep.
Big girls don't cry, big boys step up to the plate, right?
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is that we get caught in this mode of giving, and it's not okay to receive, right? I'm stronger than that. I don't need your help. So in doing that, two things,
by the way.
And two things happen when we do that is, number one, we downgrade, almost belittling the person that does need help, right? Because we're saying we're so strong, we don't need help. But yeah, we understand that, you know what, you're going through hard times, you need help. So we don't even realize that that's what we're implying, but the implication is there. Can you see it, Mickey?
Yeah.
Can you see how that implication is there? And so we're so used to giving, to helping other people, and seeing ourselves as being strong that we don't need it, that what will happen is the universe or God will strike us down to humble us, to get us comfortable with receiving. The first time that happened to me was in the late 90s, and a friend of mine who is a great channeler, and when I say channeler, I'm talking about she'd get this information and she'd put it out there, right? And so she told me, she said she had this beautiful, it was winter in Wisconsin, and she had this beautiful long leather coat, black, right? 2 pieces you could unzip, and you could unzip the inside, you know, like easily $400 or $500 back then. So who knows today's prices? But anyhow, she takes it off and she says to me, I'm hearing that I'm supposed to give this to you. It's supposed to be my gift to you. And I'm like, oh, thank you. No, I can't accept that, right? It's expensive. I can't accept that. And she's insisting to me, no, they keep telling me I have to give this to you. You need to have this. And what I realized after the fact was that the reason why she had to give it to me was so that was the very first step that I took in learning how to receive. Mm-hmm. To allow somebody to give to me in the manner that I gave to them, with love, with understanding, with not wanting anything back in return. Just, I have this and I want to share with you. So that was one of my first steps in learning how to receive. And I think that a lot of us are in that position. So, you know, it's not that we're asking for anything, but when somebody tries to offer us something, to just be able to say a compliment. Samantha, I love your hair. Oh my God, you look so great today, you know, and to be able to say, oh, Carol, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. And not to go, no, yeah, my hair doesn't really look that great today, but.
Well,
really,
if I may add,
you just pooped all over my compliment.
Yes. Yeah, took my blessing. So, and if I may add to that, even a little bit deeper than that, the receiving part of it is that I think that we become so overwhelmed. I know in my case, you know, and many of us are like this. I'm a mother, a grandmother, a daughter, a coworker, a neighbor. I'm so many things to so many people, and I kind of got lost in that. And so what happens is it's kind of like our battery's completely drained, and yet we still want to give to others. But how do you charge someone's battery from a dead battery? It's why on airplanes, we put the oxygen mask on first to help others, because you can't help them if you can't sustain yourself.
That's a great observation.
Completely wear out. Nikki, did you have any?
I was just thinking the same thing. Oh, like it's like Mickey has something to say, but it goes back to something like we were talking about like 3 to 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I guess the only fears I've had, well, I shouldn't say only, there's many of them, but one of the biggest ones right now is actually speaking up for myself. It's one of the hardest ones I'm going through right now, is actually to step forward and voice my opinion outside of a leader, like, you know, being in a company and being in charge of people. Yes, it's definitely easy for me to speak up and tell everybody what's on my mind, what we should be doing and things like that. But as far as speaking up for my inner feelings, it's very difficult. And it's one of the things that I am working on.
And I would think, just general observation, I would think that doing that, learning how to speak up for yourself from within yourself and your emotions, etc., I would think that would be harder for men than it is for women, simply because, you know, society says men are supposed to be strong, right? And they don't talk emotional stuff. I do this with Jim all the time, and I'm always pulling at him, pulling these little threads, trying to get him emotional. But I do have to say on Jim's behalf that even before we started dating, he had with his 2 boys, what he calls tearjerker Thursdays. And they would watch chick flicks.
That's
and they
good.
all end up getting emotional about it. But so.
Well, so that's actually, I'm very passionate about that subject. Mickey, thank you for speaking on that, because, you know, I have boys, and Mickey, you and I have talked about that. You know, the job sites, you know, they don't come say, hey, Mike, I just want you to know that Cindy really upset me this weekend. I mean, she just really didn't validate me, wasn't there for my, you know what I mean? They don't have these conversations, and they're taught from, you know, children, again, programmed that we are to, the boys especially, you're the man of the house. You know, you need to speak up. Boys don't cry, suck it up. and they have emotions too. They have to process just as well, and then they have the weight on their shoulders. Typically, in a standard, that they feel like they have to be the one who takes on everything and provides, and back to the old caveman days,
Right.
and dragons. So, and it's super important that men's emotions, all of our emotions actually, but I love that you're kind of like the representative for that, and that you're speaking on that, and expressing that is just huge. I don't think we even understand how important that is, especially to young men they're not kids anymore, but they're not adults either, and they're learning to process, and even men your age that are hearing like, oh, okay, well, I have those issues too. So to just be relatable and authentic, and how powerful that is.
So I think
anyway.
I think what you just said is key to it, and that's being relatable, right? So here's the thing that I really want to interject, and I'm going to make it short though, is that two things, because you talked about emotions and men being able to express it also, right? So
Right.
What I see happening, what I think has been happening for several years now, is a merger of the Atlantean Lemurian kind of energy. Okay. So Atlantean being the technological masculine essence, and Lemuria being the feminine intuitive essence, right? So
which we all encompass both, but yes.
Right. We have a masculine side, we have a feminine side. What has been happening is that there's been this, the universe is trying to help us to merge the masculine and feminine. And when in the beginning stages of so we've been in a pretty masculine world for quite some time, right? And so when you start talking about dreams and intuitions and stuff like that, it's always attributed to the feminine side, right? To women, right? Oh, that's woman's intuition. Well, exactly. What about men's intuition, right? So, but in the beginning, when things start to merge, people are not accustomed, they're not acclimated to experiencing, men aren't acclimated to expressing and giving credence to their intuitive side. And women aren't accustomed to being masculine and building their own things and changing their own oil and, working in the world of math and technology and construction, right? So in the beginning, we overcompensate, and the men, and when I say the men, I'm talking about the young men that are coming up, right? And you'll see this in today's world, and they overcompensate, becoming overly feminine, right? And the women overcompensate, becoming overly masculine. When what we are trying to do is to find the balance. And that's part of the way that we find the balance. And I'm saying this because I know a lot of people out there are on one side of the fence or the other. They think that the over femininity that is being expressed by young men is too much. And some people on the other side of the fence think that, no, this is perfect. This is where it's supposed to go. Well, they have to experience it first in order to be able to merge it together. But that's what's happening now, is merging the feminine and the masculine. So Mickey is becoming more comfortable with expressing himself, right? And the way we express ourselves. And women are becoming more comfortable. Samantha and I both, we did not both plan on wearing blue jean jackets.
I'm black. I got black under at least.
but the truth of both Samantha and I, we were talking about this just the other day, is that we are hands-on women. So we build things, we get dirty, we don't wash our hair every day, we don't put on makeup every day. We're on the masculine side of femininity. And Mickey is learning how to express.
You speak for yourself. No,
but so the other side of that, besides the merging of the masculine and feminine, the Atlantean and Lemurian energies, besides that, what people don't recognize, most people don't recognize, is how powerful emotions are. And emotions can be addictive. So if you, the emotion of anger, right? If you allow yourself to become just a little bit angry, watch how that spirals. Just watch it in yourself, and you become more and more angry. And the more angry you become, the deeper you spiral, and the more difficult it is to come
The
up.
more it grows, and the more people you affect that way. Yeah.
Right. But so here's the thing, and many people will have heard this, is that our emotions are what make us human. Emotions are unique to human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you talk about our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters and relatives, they don't experience emotions the way that human beings do. And they've made
Right.
plenty of movies about, angels being jealous because, humans have emotions, etc. So emotions make us unique, but they are also humanity's bane. In that if you don't keep a check on them, if you don't recognize what's happening, they can make you spiral out. You can lose control of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So Mickey is actually in a perfect spot, because you have this control and coming from the masculine side, right? And you're learning how to open up from it. So I would think that you're in this spot of, and I get this whoosh coming up here, being able to use your ability from the masculine side of being and controlling things and barking out your orders, etc. To use that, to somehow combine that with the feeling of the emotions, right? Because you have to have some emotions going on with your current lesson and expressing yourself, right?
Right.
What feelings come up while you're trying to express yourself, and how
It's about
do
balance.
you deal with them?
Anyway.
Huh?
About balance anyway. We're
Right.
always balancing it, right?
But what I'm wondering is how Mickey is applying that, because Mickey comes, especially as a man, and owns his own business and is a contractor, which is a manly man job, right? Being a contractor. So you're coming from this space of truly embracing that masculine side of yourself, and now you're trying to become comfortable with expressing yourself, which is a feminine attribute, right? And when I say expressing yourself, I mean emotionally, what it is that you need. And so how are you dealing with that when you try to express yourself and your emotions get triggered at the same time?
That's a tough one. I'm still working through that. I do not have an answer for that.
Well, yeah, you do, because yeah, you do. You do, because you are experiencing it. So you're just not recognizing. How are you actually dealing with it? So you try to express yourself and something triggers you. Do you get frustrated? Do you get
Oh,
angry?
avoidance.
Okay. So avoidance.
Avoidance. Yep.
Okay. So, and that's a typical reaction, right?
Or challenge for it to shut it down. Yeah.
So when you feel those emotions rising up, they're uncomfortable, right?
Right.
And so what you normally do is just try to avoid it. And so, but you recognize that this is a lesson for you. So what have you done to counteract that avoidance?
I try to express myself more frequently than what I ever have.
And do you have to take deep breaths? Do you have to walk away so that the anger can calm down, or what?
So you mean the method in which he does that? Like,
yes. What's your process? And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to explain it perfectly. But if some guy watches this now or later and says, "Oh my God, yeah, that's exactly the problem that I'm having right now." How are you dealing with it?
Usually I either just shut down until I can think about it for a minute, or I blurt it out. So blurting it out usually isn't a good thing. So usually I just, like, it's an avoidance, but then I come back to it later.
So that's good. That's good, walking away. That's what I did. And I still do it. When something piques me to that level, that the emotions start to come up, I will still walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say as little as I possibly can, as I possibly have to, and I'll walk away until I have a chance to calm down and the emotions, so that I am not reacting to something, but acting.
Well, so you're talking about being triggered, right? So, I mean, in a case, instead, and I think that is to say, I need a few minutes. I need a few minutes. Walk away, get centered, breathe a few times, inhale, breathe, ground yourself a little bit. What am I really upset about? Why did that really bother me? Question, why am I feeling these emotions? Why is this coming up like this? Why do I feel this way? And if you're not ready to say that right away, and usually we aren't because we're triggered, right? Is to just say, I need a few minutes to talk about that, or I'll talk about that after a shower or dinner or whatever it is. And then really think about why you're triggered and what you really want to say. And that brings me to a point we're going to have to close out here pretty quickly. Is that what's really important, I think, there is a major difference between, and so if we just take a moment to respond rather than to react, we'll have a lot less issues.
So what's the difference between responding and reacting?
Just the time to acknowledge why you're triggered, what you really feel about, as in like couples, we'll argue about, I'll be like, why do you keep leaving your socks on the floor? I just cleaned all the counters and you come and bring in all your work stuff and throw it all over the counters, right? And you were picking these little stupid fights, right? And it's like, then I stop and think like, I don't care about the socks. What are we really fighting about? And then okay, wait a second. I feel like my work isn't respected when you do these things. It feels like you don't respect the work that I put in. So I'm not really fighting about the socks. What am I really fighting about? What am I really upset about? What is really triggering me or whatnot? And just take that moment to ask yourself, why? Why am I feeling this way?
So it sounds to me, the way that you're explaining it, it sounds to me like that the difference between responding and reacting is that reacting, you are it's an action that is because somebody else did something to you, right? So you're reacting to it without thinking about it. Whereas a response is where you take responsibility for the way that you respond to whatever just happened. You're not, because you use terms like why is this affecting me? What am I supposed to be getting out of this, etc. So the way that you're explaining it says to me that response means you're taking enough time to think about it so that you're taking responsibility for whatever is happening. It's not, you're not blaming it on anybody else. You're not reacting to the situation. Simply somebody stepped on your foot and you go, right? Versus taking just a split second to think about it. Well, why is she standing on my foot? Well, because there's a snake over there and she stepped backwards. That's why she stepped on my foot. So response is taking responsibility, versus reacting means you're not even thinking about it. You're just, it's an automatic
reaction.
Yeah.
That's again reacting and as opposed to responding. Yeah. So
take a moment to think about it.
Yeah.
Realize that maybe the reason why they're stepping on your foot is there's a rattlesnake there.
Yeah, right. Is there anything else anyone would like to add before we close out today? We are going to do this again. Yes. Is everybody agreeable to that?
Yeah. Maybe somebody will post some questions or something, see it as a live at a later date.
Yes. Okay. So anybody else have anything to add before we sign off? No, that's it. Okay. So yes, please.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you
for
guys
having
for listening. Again, this is our first live. So, be a little patient with us as we work out the bugs and get comfortable working with each other, especially on video. But please, if you have any questions or responses or anything negative, positive, it doesn't matter.
I do want to add one last thing.
Sure.
And that would be that in the Matrix, when Neil jumps off the roof, right? When he goes to jump off the roof,
Mhm.
everybody's wondering if he's going to fall. And
Mhm.
somebody says, everybody falls the first time. I'm
Mhm.
telling you, everybody falls the first time. Don't be afraid to jump. Don't be afraid. Face your fears. I mean,
And
be
follow
reasonable. Be reasonable, right? Because some people will take that to the extreme and do something that could actually, if you're going to fall the first time, don't walk off a mountain cliff, okay?
Right.
But don't be afraid to take chances. Don't be afraid to investigate what's going on inside of you, because this is all real. We can all attest this is real.
And my vow, and what's important to me in these videos and just in general is to be true, authentic, relatable, honest. And so that's what you're gonna get. I even may mess up and curse every now and then. So but it is I'll do my best, but it will be always honest and always authentic. And we're happy to take any, like I said, any comments or questions, and we will respond to those. And then we will, we'll collaborate again, and hopefully this next time we'll get it out on with a schedule out there ahead of time, so people know when we're going to be doing our next collaboration live. So okay, well, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you guys are all lovely. I really appreciate all of your input, and what a fantastic thing to do. And I hope that others that are in these positions that can understand that gives them a little bit of comfort knowing there's other people out there and working on it. And so we just hope this reaches as many people and helps as many people as we can, because it's all of our jobs to serve humanity. So thank you all for being here. I hope you all have a blessed rest of your week, and
have a good day at work, Mickey. Mickey's
Thank
still
you.
working.
I appreciate that.
yes, have a good one. All right, thank you all.
All right, love you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.